With an update on Sasha Banks and Naomi potentially having their contracts frozen, this is Wrestling Hub. My name is John, and you're watching the Wrestling Report for May 23rd. Before we get into the rest of the video, make sure you subscribe to Wrestling Hub and turn on all notifications to stay up to date with everything in the world of pro wrestling. Also, don't forget to follow us on Instagram at Wrestling Hub Official, and also follow us on Twitter at Wrestling_Hub. Recalling his time in WWE with What Culture, Enzo Amore revealed that he had creative freedom from his days on NXT to Raw and SmackDown. Dusty Rhodes, thank you, rest in peace. I love you and I owe you everything, and I also owe Triple H a great degree of gratitude, man. He and Dusty gave me a microphone and they gave me a lot of creative liberty, and it translated from NXT directly to the main roster, and Vince McMahon also gave me that creative freedom. On the DDP Snake Pit podcast, Dallas Page and Jake Roberts spoke about CM Punk's AEW run so far. Dallas would start by saying, "My promos, I wanted a little bit of everybody. From Jake to Dusty to Savage, everybody a little piece sprinkled in so that you don't really notice it. I look at MJF, he came in like this and he was just going to stay committed the whole way through. And the stuff he did with Punk. And I think Punk is better today than when he was the man up in WWE. Roberts would then say that CM Punk feels safer in AEW. I think he also might feel safety. In that other company, you've got to be guns out and watching every which way to save your ass. Now he's in a place that he feels pretty comfortable." During the time reports came out about Ricky Steamboat being offered a match against Ric Flair at StarCast, Jake Roberts claimed Steamboat was having health issues and was concerned he may have caused them from the time he DDT'd Steamboat on concrete. Ricky responded in an interview, claiming to be healthy. Now Jake has apologized for the confusion. "I have a heavy heart today. Last week, we were talking about someone who I hold in the highest regard. Nobody higher. I value our friendship as much as I do Dallas. He's just a lovely, lovely man. Last week, out of concern, I brought up something that I had no business bringing up because I didn't check who said it. Number one, you should never talk about someone unless you check the facts. I said that I had heard Ricky was having problems with the mental aspect. I did it out of concern and love and fear. Fear that I had been the reason. Maybe that he was having problems. From an angle WWE ran where Steamboat got injured by Jake Roberts' DDT on the concrete floor on Saturday Night Main Event in 1986. The good news is he isn't having any problems. I repeated something that I heard from what I thought was a very good source, someone who spends time with him, and I was totally wrong in doing it. I'm ashamed that I did it, but man, I am so scared that I'm going to lose my friendship with him. I reached out with no luck, and Ricky, I certainly understand you have the right to ream my butt, kick my butt, whatever, but just don't shut the door on our friendship. That's all I ask because I would really miss that. He's a #1 talent. There isn't anybody better selling. He's a phenomenal talent and a phenomenal man. A great human being. Please let me come back in." While he's been out of WWE for some time, we've yet to see Bray Wyatt make a return to pro wrestling. Talking about his time in the company, Matt Hardy revealed on his podcast that Bray had an odd relationship with Vince McMahon. Wyndham has always had a very strange relationship with Vince. Very strange. I almost felt like Vince looked at him like a son in some ways. When he would do things that he liked, he would love him, and he would really give him everything that he could possibly give him. He would bend over backwards to try and accommodate him. But then when he did something he didn't like, he hated. Like he's going to lock him away for good. It was almost like a really weird, a really strange and different duality that Vince shared with Bray. When he liked him or loved him, he was all about him, but when he disliked him, oh my god, it was really bad. And he would punish him and insult him. To me, it was so strange. It was almost like a parent. While she was originally set to defend her SmackDown Women's title against Sasha Banks at Hell in a Cell, Ronda Rousey is now in need of a new opponent. WWE is attempting to rectify this, as Meltzer noted. That was never the plan for Ronda Rousey to have a match against Raquel Gonzalez. The plan was Ronda Rousey and Sasha Banks. So now they have to make a new plan. You've got Raquel Gonzalez, you've got Natalya, you've got Shayna. Who else you got? You could do Becky Lynch, but they're not going to do Ronda Rousey, Becky Lynch. You know, Bianca Belair and Asuka together. It's not going to be that. So yeah, you could send Carmella or whatever. You could send Rhea Ripley. Given the indefinite suspensions of Sasha Banks and Naomi, Meltzer would also discuss the possibility surrounding their contracts being frozen for not showing up to work. Naomi's contract did not have much time left. I think it was about 2 months. As we've talked about, she was negotiating a new deal. Based on the wording of their contracts, WWE has the right to suspend and freeze. Now, would that hold up in court? I don't know. Will they challenge it in court? I don't know. But based on the contracts they signed, if you fail to perform and we suspend you, we can also freeze your contract. So in the case of Naomi, for example, had she gone out and just finished and got fed up, she could have just let her contract expire and gone anywhere she wanted to go. I don't know the date of Banks' expiration. What she's going to do, we really don't know what she's going to do next. If she wants to be in wrestling, there's options to make money, and there's options to test herself as an artist and not make as much money if she chooses to do that. I don't know that she will, but maybe she will. But I don't know what's going to happen with her. But right now, she can't do any of those things, so that's pretty much it. And I'm pretty sure they're looking for them to break ranks and for Naomi to come back and Banks to hang out by herself, and maybe that will happen, and maybe that won't, and maybe they don't care. Maybe they don't want either of them back. I don't know, at least for now. I mean, Banks having done it twice, it's going to be tougher, but you know, you never say never as far as bringing people back in wrestling. I've seen it a lot worse, and people come back, so time will tell. I remember the Zelina Vega thing. She was fired and blah blah blah, and you know, she was going to be the big poster person for unionization and going to the Screen Actors Guild and fighting for everything. And then the next thing you know, she's back. We'll see what happens. Comparing the situation, it was brought up how Steve Austin was treated with less dignity. They went on TV, they did it, and whatever reaction there is, I don't know what the general crowd reaction is. I don't know that there's obviously in these situations, there's going to be fans of the talent that will back the talent whatever the story is, and there will be people who are fans of management who will back management or whatever. But each story is different, and this story is, you know, people will compare it to. They're trying to compare it to different other things that have happened, and the only one that is close to comparable is Austin, and they buried Austin a lot worse. With it seeming like it could be a while before the two make a return, Ringside News wrote that for those who were wondering, no creative ideas are being pitched for Sasha Banks and Naomi. Nobody is throwing an idea out there in case Vince wants to bring them back. No official mandate was handed down, but it was not needed. We were told it's pretty obvious they're gone. On SmackDown, it would be announced that the women's tag team titles are vacant and new champions are to be crowned in an upcoming tournament. Discussing the prospect of getting enough duos to fill the brackets, Meltzer said on Wrestling Observer Radio, I mean, we'll see what they come up with. Well, you just put, geez, Zelina and Carmella have broken up twice, but whatever. The only team is Baszler and Natalya. Everybody else is like Morgan and Rhea Ripley broke up as a team. I guess you could do Nikki ASH and Doudrop as a team, but they certainly weren't put together as a team to be in the championship mix. They were put together as a team to, you know, do whatever they were going to do with Nikki to culminate the little angle that they were doing. But yeah, maybe they'll have to be in it. I guess they will have to be in it. There's not a lot of teams there that are going on. So I would say they'll have to be in it too. Yeah. With WWE CBO Stephanie McMahon announcing a leave of absence from the company, it seems that she could be replaced soon. As PW Insider reported, everyone internally within WWE who have asked have been told Stephanie McMahon is taking her extended leave due to the last year being very rough on her family for all the obvious reasons, and that she's taking time to focus on her family. While WWE President Nick Khan is working with several of WWE's partners in McMahon's absence, the belief is that eventually the company will bring someone in to handle brand management on an executive level full time. Taking to Twitter to call out a public school district in Florida where his niece was attacked in a video, AEW star Chris Jericho wrote, "Hey Hillsborough School, my niece has been incessantly bullied at Mel Runnin Middle School for months. Despite my family's pleas, nobody did anything to help, and this was the result a few days ago. If you won't take action, I love to discuss this on ABC Action News and WFLA anytime." Jericho's niece would then give her thanks. Recapping the pay-per-view schedule for the undisputed WWE Universal Champion Roman Reigns, Dave Meltzer said on Wrestling Observer Radio that when it comes to his match against Drew McIntyre in Wales, the Tribal Chief could get more cheers. Drew McIntyre and Roman as of right now is September 3rd. The other two, you know, it was Riddle July 2nd, Orton July 30th, but that's far from etched in stone. McIntyre is because of Cardiff. The funny thing about that is, I know people in the UK who believe that Roman Reigns is getting cheered over McIntyre because they did, what was it? I think they did a match in London where Roman Reigns got cheered over McIntyre, which, whatever. It really doesn't matter because it's still about the local draw and everything like that. With him previously mentioning a step back from in-ring competition, Roman Reigns told fans in Cedar Rapids at the end of WWE's Sunday Stunner Live event, noting that this could be his last house show and his final run. Here's the video.
I love you too, Roman! Yeah! I love you more! Boo! I love you, Roman! You're better!
The plain and simple is that sucks. Even though it sucks, you brought so much energy tonight, as did all of you, and that's all we can really ask for.
Yeah!
Even though you're on the losing side tonight, I appreciate you, I appreciate all of y'all.
I love you, Roman! The go! The go! No, don't go!
And this was your Pro Wrestling News Update. I hope you're all having a great day. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you later.